Okay, so Mualani and Chasca banner, should you summon? No, don't. Just don't. We have 6.0 coming out, and 6.0 is going to lead to basically probably the most, like, it depends. Because I don't have Mualani, but I have Kinich. And Kinich feels about, stronger than most of the 4.0 characters. And if we see something like that with Flynn and then the other girl, I think it's very possible we end up seeing Flynn be like third best DPS, better than Varissa. It's very possible, right? Arlecchino and Nevi are the only 4.0 characters I would say are better than Kinich and Mualani. I don't see another character that would take their place. I know there's Navia, I know there's Linny, but those are two characters I don't have. So let's talk about the banners. So I'm expecting 6.0 to, bring in massive power creep, or not massive, but definitely some power creep. And I'm expecting Mualani to not be as strong as Flynn. Simple as that. I'm gonna directly just state that. I could be wrong. We'll see how it ages. But certainly, I don't expect Chasca to be better than any 6.0 character going forward, because Chasca is the worst 5.0 release. I think that's just simple as that. Although she's got a lot of value from Stygian, she is very good because Stygian allows her to just clear everything because she has such diverse teams. And whether you want to, cry about it being, oh, she's being carried by her teams, guess what? Every single other character. Guess what, though? She can still provide something for her teams, unlike other characters. If she's being carried by her team so much, put some Viridescent on her. And, we'll see who gets the better time. Simple as that. Now, the weapon banner. Let's say you're a person who has both these characters. The weapon banner is not bad. Mualani also wants her weapon, right? You might have Nevi's weapon, which definitely would help because it's 88% crit damage, low base attack. I think it gives you a little bit of base HP, but it doesn't give you anything beyond that because Mualani doesn't do charge attacks. Yeah, but Chasca's weapon also is a very, very strong weapon to give her. I believe it's like a 30% increase, so yeah, you're really just looking at this weapon banner, really good, genuinely. However, it's a weapon banner, and we have 6.0 coming up. For these characters, I'm expecting to get power crept. It's sad to say, but Mualani, I think she's going to be very effective in 5.0 or 6.0, but I don't think that she's a character worth summoning for when saying that she's effective is just like, she'll be good for Stygian when she's good for Stygian, but I'm assuming that, we're not really going to see her be, the best option for Stygian, and I'm assuming a lot of 6.0 characters are going to be the best options for Stygian. That is how I feel about it right now. So yeah, just talking about that. And then we get to look at the 4 stars. Bennett has been literally, given out for free at this point. He's been a 4-star in the game for literal years, like almost 5 years at this point. So it's hard for me to recommend anybody go for him. Then we have Auroran. Again, he's not really like that insane, especially now that we have Inefa. You can use them both together, obviously, but I just don't see Auroran being, a character beyond C0, I feel like, because he also was given out for free. I don't see people needing Auroran beyond C0. Inefa, he just isn't that good. As simple as that. Like, Auroran has things. He's a Natlan character, and he gives attack percent, with C6. He does a lot of stuff. He does damage. He has tools in his kit to be useful. Inefa, he's not really that great, and where he is good is just like, it's still not good. You'd be better off just putting someone else on the team all the time, basically. He's not really the character that you want on the team. Yeah, I'll just say that. Like, it's not, again, like Chasca. Like, let's look at Chasca. Chasca, okay. In certain situations, yeah, sure, she's not the best on her team, obviously. The thing is, she's good on her team in a lot of situations, and a lot of situations that have presented themselves in Stygian. Inefa, this man just is always not necessarily the best character, ever, right? Like, there isn't really a reason to care about, putting Inefa on your team, or, having him, be the character you use. Chasca, she has her moments where she's able to hit 180,000 on her single target damage. Like, Chasca can easily do upwards of 1 million damage in single target. A lot of people want to act like that doesn't happen for some reason, but you have, well, I say upwards of 1 million damage. That's not even, like 1.5, let's be real. And that's without her weapon. she's able to do that, and Nefa isn't. And Nefa, he's not. He just isn't. Sorry, but he's not. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. For Nefa, these banners just don't really feel like they're strong enough to warrant possibly missing out on 6.0 characters who are probably gonna be a new version of basically these characters. I get it if you like Mualani, like she's not gonna be a bad character. You can summon for her, but remember, you are going to be risking possibly skipping out on a very good 6.0 character. I mean, we don't know necessarily how Genshin wants to handle 6.0. They could be believing that, oh, we're gonna do a Fontaine and just up everything, basically. I doubt it, but and the reason why I say I doubt it is because we don't have Hyper Bloom. There's no need for them to one-up a very, other than maybe them looking at Furina plus, Mavuika as an issue in the game and it being such insane high off-field damage that they have to go back to their roots of okay, let's up the main DPS so that way these off-field damage dealers doing, way too much damage off-field are worse. So a 40% damage bonus for one of these new 6.0 characters is going to be like 1,000,000 damage added to it. And we have Furina, we have, Shield, and we have, even Mavuika would do that. But it's very possible that we end up seeing something like that, but I don't think it's going to be that bad. I really have grown on Chasca. She has been insanely useful in Stygian. However, she just isn't a character that I can recommend summoning on because she's useful in Stygian right now, but once the boss HP increases, I don't know how well she'll hold on. I really don't, because sometimes she can get an 80-second clear time. Very good. Other times it's down to the wire and you have to kind of side-eye her are you okay? You do kind of have to do that. And I really do think that Chasca, if she ends up like that, it could be bad, basically. I really do think that Chasca is at that level. I just think that people who do have her, she's a very good character right now. It's legitimately right now, is basically the only time. We'll see how badly they increase Stygian's HP if we start to see, the Archon, obviously, we're going to have. I am expecting the Archon in, 6.2, or the Archon level character, Colombina. I am expecting her in 6.2. If you go back, Mavuika is the only character who dropped in 5.3, right? She's the only character who dropped in a 0.3 version. So I heavily doubt that we're going to see Colombina be held off again for that long. I think it was just a sort of one-time thing, right? We did feel like if you looked at how Mavuika functioned, there was probably a good reason. And that is because she directly needed characters from Natlan to function. And would oh, we should probably, shove out a couple more characters so that this doesn't seem as bad when she comes out. I do think that Genshin looked at it and that was the reason why Mavuika was delayed in update. I do think so. And I think honestly Sealali might have been brought back or brought upwards. A lot of people complained about 5.3. Oh, Sealali and Mavuika being in the same phase. I do see that, and I'm also it's very possible they were no, we're not releasing Mavuika without Sealali, because if you've seen the difference, you know why. The difference is insane, and had Mavuika not had Sealali, it would have been, harmful towards, what she is and how strong she is, because the gap between her and Mualani would not be as strong. But now with Sealali, obviously it's there. I am expecting the Archon level character, Colombina, to be a 5. or 6.2 character. I am expecting that. So that means if you summon now, you only have 2 updates to save. That's good enough updates, but do you want her C2? I will be honest here. Ever since Raiden, C2 Archons have been pretty insane. And Colombina is going to take the place of the Archon level character. Yeah, it's basically written right in the trailers. I am very much so expecting Colombina to come out. Oh, I'm Archon, C2 is broken, right? I'm very, very much so expecting that. I do recommend people safe. I don't even think you should look at these banners because realistically, these characters, Chasca, she just is not good enough to summon for to begin with. Because while I'm sitting here and saying she's so good for Stygian, we've had 2. So yeah, she's 5 out of 6. Very good reputation. But who knows how well that'll hold up? Who knows? We have not had Stygian around long enough. Well, it's been around very much so long enough. It really has. It's been, what, almost 3 months, it feels like, because it's been 40 days each. It'll be 40 days each by the end of this update, so it'll be 80 days, almost 3 months. Yeah, I expect Chasca, you know, we'll see how she ages, but again, Mualani has been a very, very good character in Stygian from what I've heard. People constantly are saying, oh yeah, this was so easy with Mualani. This was so good with Mualani. Like, Mualani with her high just damage in one hit, you can, you know, sneak it in through the window that, you know, these characters miss, right? Like, you know, because Stygian is a lot of shields. That's really what it is down to. Stygian's a lot of shields. Mualani can gap through those shields and, like, just find the one point where they don't have a shield up, snipe them. That is what Mualani feels like, and what she seems to play like. Again, I don't have her. I will be trying to get her. I don't know if I'll be successful. I will be getting every character from now on, so that means I have to get both 6.0 characters. Can you understand why I might not be, you know, getting Mualani? We'll see if I get lucky enough with Mualani, but yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.